Welcome back everyone to Blender and Unreal Engine becoming a dungeon prop artist, and this is where we left it off. Now let's crack right on. We've actually turning this into a three-dimensional using our solidify modifier. So let's press Ctrl A, all transforms right click. So origins geometry, come down, solidify, and there we go. That should be absolutely fine. Do we need more thickness? Let's bring it up and see. So yeah, I mean, it's made of gold. It's supposed to be chunky. So I think actually we'll give it a little bit more thickness. I'm just looking at the inside, making sure that's okay. I think actually with the, probably with the inside, I'll delete most of it out of the way anyway. All right, so let's press Ctrl A. Let's put even thickness on first, then press Ctrl A just to apply that. And now let's get rid of the inside up here. So all I'm going to do to get rid of the inside is I'm just going to press tab. I'm going to grab the sides up here so you can see I've got it growing all the way around there. Then if I press Ctrl plus, we can see that we want it going all the way up to here. So now I can press this delete and faces, and you'll see you're left with that. And we're left with this on the inside. Can you see how that's broken away? Which is perfect for us. So now if I come here, Alt Shift and click, and I'll show you another way actually of filling this in. All you need to do is press Alt F, and that will fill it in so it's not an actual hang-on, so it is actually a nice piece of mesh. And we can do the same thing on the bottom as well. So Alt Shift click, Alt F, fill it in, and there we go. All right, last of all then, now we've got this, I just want to have a nice groove going around here. So I'm going to press tab, Control R, bring it up, and then Control B, pull it out, like so. I'm going to turn down the number of segments just so I've got one. I want to press E, Enter, Alt and S, just bring that out then, and you can see because I pressed Alt and S again, it's perfectly straight, and now that's looking pretty nice. All right, so that's that one. Now let's think about creating our actual necklace. So I'm gonna show you an easy way actually of doing that. So I'm just going to grab these, put them to the side. I'm going to first of all create my gemstone. So I'm going to press Shift A, like so. Bring it down, and I'm going to pull it this way, like so. I'm not going to worry about the scale at the moment. All I'm going to do is just create this, a gemstone, something that looks like a gemstone. I'm going to press Ctrl A, all transforms, right click, origins geometry. Now it's very important that we've actually pulled this from here down to here. And it's also very important that I now set the orientation of this to the center. So I'm going to right click, set origin to 3D cursor. If your 3D cursor is not in the center, Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then you can reset it. All right, now let's work on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S and Z, and then I'm going to come in, grabbing each of these, like so. I'm going to press Ctrl B, pull them down, and finally then I'm going to grab each of these sides, press Ctrl B, and pull them out, and just give us some kind of looking gemstone. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do is I want to rotate these around. So basically to give me that look of an actual gemstone. So the easiest way I've found to do it is just simply to bring in a empty. So you can see here it says empty, bring in a plane axis. Now an empty is basically something where you can use it to actually do animations, or you can do things like what we're doing here, using it to actually create arrays and things like that. And what an empty is basically it's a piece of mesh that will never be shown in the render. So you'll never see this actual piece of mesh. So that's why it's called an actual empty. Similar to the empties, when we're deleting vertices instead of faces, it's similar to that, apart from it's actually used for a purpose. All right, so with that said, let's now come back to our gemstone. I'm just going to again reset everything because I did change the shape of it. So all transforms, and then right click, set origin to 3D cursor. Just make sure it's in the center again. And now finally we can come in, come to our array, and now this array basically, as you can see, we can array things all the way along in a row. It just makes a copy of it. But the best thing about the array is it makes a copy in a certain distance. So you can see now we can array something, and the same distance is between each of these, and you can go on for infinity, basically as many as you want. Now we don't want to actually use this like this. We want to use it a different way. So what we want to do is put in object offset. We want to actually turn this off. And then what we want to do is want to pick our object as our actual empty, like so. Now, when I spin this empty round now, you will see, so RZ, you'll see that we can actually spin these round now and get them all the way back into place. So you can see that I've spun it round 44.8. Now, if I spin this round by 45 degrees, and now you can see that they're perfectly level with this one. Actually, I'm not sure if they are. Yeah, I think they are. I think it's just my eyes. Yeah, you can see that these are level, these are level, and these are level. Now, the thing is, we do want a few more in here. We don't want, we want one in between here because we are making this into an actual necklace. So what I'll do is I'll come back to my array and I'll turn it up. Let's try something like 14 instead. Now, when we do that, it won't actually make more in that way. So now we have to come back and now we can see that we can actually bring more in like so. And we have to work out how these level up. So you can see I brought that all the way back now and leveled them up. And if I put this now on 25 degrees instead, yeah, you can see that's not going to work. So let's bring it slowly, holding the shift button, just trying to level them up in some way. I'm using basically this one here because this is along that straight line. So I can see it's 25.8. Probably the best thing I should do here is divide, where is it? Divide my array by 14. So if I just open up my calculator, and what we'll do is 360 divided by 14 equals 25.714. So you can see, probably not the best idea putting 14. So let's just try 15. So 360 divided by 15. Let's see where we get 24. So let's actually do it at 15. So we'll put this up 1. And then what we'll do is we'll come back to our empty here. And I'm just going to check that again because I didn't check what it was. So 360 divided by 15 equals 24. All right, 24 degrees. So now set this to 24, and there you go. Now it's perfectly level. Now you need to do is you need to just come in and to our array again, press Control A, and then finally we can get rid of our empty. Now, finally, all I want to do is I just want to now bring down this bottom bit. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to press Control plus on it, and I'm just going to pull this down like so, and then I'm just probably going to pull the tops of it out. So if I press Control R, left click, bring it out like so, and I just want to make this a little bit different. So all I'm going to do is just grab the top like so. I'm going to put my proportional editing on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's only on connected only. If I don't put that on, you'll see that I'm going to change all of these, and I don't really want that. So I just want to make sure that it's on connected only, and then I can pull it out a little bit like so, and there we go. All right, so that's looking pretty nice. Now I think I'm going to pull this up and then extrude it out and make it a little bit, probably a little bit thinner down to the bottom. So I'm going to come in, Control R, 2, left click, right click, and now let's come down to the bottom, grab that bottom, Control plus, and then press S. Just make it a little bit thinner, and there you go. I think that looks much better. All right, so we've got this. Now what we need is we need an actual chain that goes round. So I've got my cursor in the center. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to bring in, let's bring in actually a circle. So we can bring in a circle if I press 7. Now the thing is about circles, again, you can turn on the amount of vertices so you can play around with it. Let's put it on something like 20. I think that's going to be fine. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in just to the halfway point like that. And you can see already that looks pretty nice. Now the thing is with the circle, you will say that, well, we can't actually do anything with it because it's got no actual mesh. But hey, that's where you're wrong. All you need to do is you need to go to Object, you need to come down to Convert, and just convert it to a curve. And now you'll notice that we've got a curve on the right hand side. Now the best thing is with that, just so you know, is you can actually convert any piece of mesh into a curve. So in other words, if I bring in a plane and I press Tab, I'll just do a quick show here. Don't do what I'm doing, just follow along. Shift D, pull it out, and then get rid of the rest of the plane. You can see that I've got this piece here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a few subdivisions. So right click, subdivide. We've got 4 in there now, as you can see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a curve. Now, if I come over to my curve modifier and I go down to my depth, we've actually got an actual curve, some piece of mesh, and we can actually move it around and things like that. So really amazing that you can actually do that from any part of a mesh, because you can actually create a piece of mesh and then turn it straight into a curve. So really handy to know. All right, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to come back to this one now. I'm going to turn the actual depth up. So turn the depth up just a little bit. like so, just making it into an actual necklace. Now, the thing is with the depth, you can turn down the resolution. So if I turn this down, let's say to 3, you will see now that it's only got 3 sides or 0 sides or whatever it wants to be. Let's just turn it up 1, because the thing is we're not going to need a lot of resolution from here. Now, when you bring in a piece of mesh like this, normally I can't turn down the resolution because you've already created it. So this actually has no effect. Finally, then all we need to do is we need to come to Object, Convert, and just then convert it back to an actual mesh. And there we go. That's that actual finish. Now let's join all of this together. So I'm going to join all of this with Control J, press the G button, press the S button, like so, and there is our necklace. Now, one more problem with our necklace is it really needs to look like a necklace. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the top up here. I'm going to come in with my proportional editing. I'm going to make sure it's not unconnected only because I want to bring it all in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S and X and just bring it in like so. And then I'll just grab both of these and I'll just pull them in or out like so. And now you can see it looks a lot more like a necklace, albeit it's a little bit big. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay then, so there are our actual gemstones, our goblet, our silver plate. And on the next lesson then, what we can do is we can actually bring in our materials onto these. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.